Joining me from the United States of America, from Orlando, is Joe Truzman, editor, Long War Journal. Joe, thank you so much for joining me here. Now, we're seeing a Netanyahu-Trump meeting on the one hand and Gaza being bombarded on the other. Is this going to be the stated policy where you're having talks on the one hand and yet the ceasefire doesn't hold? Is there going to be a ceasefire or no ceasefire in sight?
Right. Thank you for having me on. I think right now the current environment in Gaza, yes, the IDF is continuing to attack Hamas targets and those belonging to other Palestinian terrorist organizations. However, I will say that I think the current IDF strategy in the Gaza Strip has likely reached its limit. So meaning that what the IDF has done, whether eliminating commanders, eliminating terrorist infrastructure, I think this strategy, all right, has achieved this goal. However, there are still hostages in Gaza, and the IDF has only been able to retrieve a handful of them over the last month. So yes, the IDF is continuing to operate in the Gaza Strip. However, with Prime Minister Netanyahu visiting President Trump, all the indications show that Israel and the United States are ready to wrap this war up. Now they just have to figure out the details.
Well, but there is a difference in how DC is looking at the goals and the situation on the ground, if I go with what you're saying, Joe, and how Tel Aviv is looking at it.
Right. So I would say that I think the IDF has partially achieved its goals. However, I think that the biggest two goals, right, of course, retrieving the hostages, getting the hostages back. And of course, the other one is dismantling Hamas's infrastructure. Israel does not want to see Hamas govern the Gaza Strip after this war is over. Now, the problem is that I don't think those two chief goals, those two primary goals, are compatible. Meaning that you can't, if Israel wants all the hostages, they are likely going to be compelled or forced to allow Hamas to continue governing the Gaza Strip. And I think the decision makers in DC, especially President Trump, understands this, all right, and sees that Hamas is likely to continue governing the Gaza Strip, and that the IDF has reached at least most of its goals, has achieved most of the goals that it set out for itself at the beginning of the war. So I think President Trump sees this. I think that's one of the reasons why Prime Minister Netanyahu is in DC right now, to get this ceasefire together. So I think they're on this, both sides are on the same page here, which is good news. Now, again, it boils down to the details. And of course, if Hamas accepts a ceasefire deal.
Right. Joe Truzman, thank you so much for joining us here on the network.